I had just sat down for my ride home on the late charter bus when I felt something odd under my seat. It was like sitting on a lump. It wasn't too big, but it was definitely uncomfortable. Instinctively, I reached under to try and remove the object, and my hand touched something familiar. The small size and glint of plastic told me it was a smartphone, but not a brand I was familiar with. Someone must have left it here by accident, I thought to myself. Since I had little time until my stop, I unzipped my backpack and took out my portable charger. As luck would have it, the plug fit, and immediately the phone began to charge. I watched it the way that you might watch a kettle, waiting for it to boil. I don't know why. I didn't really expect to be able to unlock it, but part of me was hopeful that there wasn't a passcode. 5 minutes later, it powered up and made a grinding noise like an old modem would. I grabbed it up and waited to see what secrets were within. The screen was completely black, no background at all, and the time was definitely off, as though it hadn't been updated in some time. Even the year was wrong. How long had it been here? There was no reception, and it didn't look like I could unlock it, so I just set it back down and focused on my own phone. And then I heard the distinct sound of a text message notification. Was it coming from the older phone? That shouldn't have been possible, I thought, as I picked it back up and saw in short succession there were dozens of messages, all from the same person apparently. Immediately, I did my best to read them in rapid response. Where are you? Why aren't you responding? Is everything okay? Don't go through with it. That message stuck out to me as I kept reading and scrolling toward the beginning of the story to try and figure out exactly what was going on. Hey, glad we could finally exchange numbers. Call me anytime. Anna. Wow, thanks for actually responding. I was beginning to think that no one actually saw me these days. Craig. Anna and Craig. These two sounded like lovers, and I was about to get all the juicy details of their relationship, I thought. This must have been Craig's phone, and he kept everything about Anna on here. I saw that he had no other contacts in his phone, which was a little strange. Next, I decided to check pictures. There were several taken at strange angles, all on the same day of the same person. It looked like he had taken the photographs on his phone right here on this bus. Did he frequently travel this route too? It felt strange to imagine sitting where someone else had, and knowing exactly what it was they had been doing. Instinctively, I glanced up to see if maybe the woman in the pictures was on the bus today. I'm not sure how freaked out I would have been if that had been the case, but I breathed a sigh of relief when I realized, besides myself and a few other riders, the bus was empty, and none of them resembled the woman in the pictures. As I scrolled back in time on his phone, I saw that he had taken at least 100 pictures of her, maybe more. This was bordering on obsession. And then I saw in his notes things that he had said about how he felt about her, even before they had actually exchanged numbers. This is what the phone's note said. I saw a woman on the bus today. Something about her stood out as different than any other I have seen before. Have you ever heard of soulmates? Well, I guess I got a funny feeling when I saw her. and I'm wondering if maybe that's it. She's very beautiful, so much so that I doubt she would want to be with anyone like me. I know that you would say I should take a leap of faith, but look where that got me. What if she rejects me, or worse, decides not to respond? I paused there in the notes, wondering who it was that Craig seemed to have faith in. There was scarce else to find on the phone. It was too old for there to be social media or anything like that, and besides the myriad of photos of the woman, the only thing I really hadn't checked was his call log. Of course, the thought of it made me feel like I was already invading this stranger's privacy too much. But something about this conversation was intriguing. I needed to know what had happened. I pulled up recent calls and saw that the same number had tried to call him over and over. And then it finally hit me how long this phone had apparently been sitting here. 6 years. It seemed impossible. But what happened next was even more so. The phone let out a ping again. A new message. How could that be? I slowly reached for it. Unknown. Do you think you know me? Again, I felt uneasy even reading the message, or daring to respond. It was a private number, so I figured that it was pointless to do so, and I immediately put the phone down, trying to ignore the next message coming in. Maybe you should keep reading. See what happened with Anna. I went back to the text messages, my eyes nervously scanning the bus. Was Craig on the bus watching me? The notes continued. I finally worked up the nerve to get her to notice me, and we hit it off immediately. I'm so excited. We exchanged phone numbers. This is exactly the lucky break that I've been looking for. At last, patience has finally paid off. The text messages also seem to show a story of a despairing man that didn't get recognized for anything. Hey Craig, are you doing okay? I wanted to invite you to drinks, but I wasn't sure if you had the time. Oh, I appreciate it, but I really can't go, Anna. I have a lot of work to catch up on. But his notes told a different story. How I wish that I could have a life with her. The things we could do together. But that isn't how it's meant to be. She won't understand the things I have to do. You would understand, of course. You always knew what I was capable of. What exactly was Craig planning? Another message chimed in from unknown. Please tell me you have seen where this is headed. I can see the worry on your face. You think I hurt her? This time, I decided to respond. If you didn't hurt her, then why are all these text messages sound so obsessed with her? And the pictures. You were stalking this woman. And if I didn't know any better, I would think that you were stalking me. Don't be ridiculous. You are nothing like her. True, you will be just as interesting to follow and watch. But Anna was special. She really wanted to help me. What are you? I dared to ask. I knew there was no way this old phone should have been working, or providing messages without service. But the text had already convinced me this was not an ordinary conversation. Something beyond the realm of my worldview that was now creeping to the forefront. I went back to the text messages. The more I read, the more disturbed I was by Craig. I'm worried about you, Craig. I always see you sitting alone on this bus. If it wasn't for that phone, I would think that you were dead. You don't need to worry. I'm fine, but I appreciate the concern. It's been a long time since anyone has really worried about me. You promise me that you're okay. Of course. I'll be fine now that you're with me. The only time that I'm with you is when we travel on this bus together. Why don't you ever want to come with me? I told you before that I can't. Why don't you just leave it alone? I'm starting to think that you're trapped on this bus. If that were truly my only concern, it would be to get out of here. I wouldn't be wasting my time getting to know you. A few more days of messages like that scrolled by, Anna growing more and more concerned. And then an awful truth started to come to light. Craig, how long have you been searching for someone? What do you mean? I was doing some research on this bus, trying to figure out why you were so familiar. I realized that I read your story when I was a little girl. Anna, stop. Stop talking about this. No, I need to know. Are you dead? I froze, rereading the message. Maybe she had misunderstood. And then he gave a reply. Of course I'm gone. That's why it's been so difficult to explain things to you. I don't want you frightened. The moment I read the message, a mirror image of that same message popped on screen. Craig was repeating what he said to Anna. I don't want you frightened. Too late for that. I was terrified because of the fact that I was now apparently texting a ghost. What do you want from me? I asked. The same thing I wanted from Anna. I needed her to leave this place, but she wouldn't listen to me. Maybe you will. I took out my phone and quickly did a search history on this bus the same way Anna had. Specifically, I was looking for tragic events surrounding this route. It didn't take long to find one from only 6 years, the same time as the text messages. Local woman jumps from a moving bus. Anna Fitzgerald, a local real estate agent, has been found dead near the corner of 4th and Pine. Witnesses claim they heard her talking to herself or to an unseen person she frequently told to leave her alone, before she leapt from the bus to her death when it was moving at approximately 75 miles per hour. I texted Craig. Did you make her jump? Of course not. I didn't want that. But once she understood that I was going to try to be with her, she overreacted. You were going to be with her? You mean possessing her body? There was a long pause and I got a chill in the air. The phone was how he found his victims. I understood that now. He left it here for a curious passerby like me to find. I stood up and pulled for the cord that would make the bus stop. The phone pinged again. You can't leave me here on this bus. I won't let you. I have been here too long. I tossed the phone and tried again to get the bus to stop, but it only sped up. I felt something overpower my body. I knew that it had to be the spirit from Craig trying to enter my very soul. We were coming up to a curb. If I timed it right, I could jump and survive. I moved toward the front of the bus as it began to slow down to pick up passengers. Now was the chance to escape. I rushed to get off, even as the spirit overwhelmed me and I fell down, slamming into the concrete. But somehow I made it, and I was free from this strange encounter. I stood up, wiped blood from my lip as I turned to watch the bus roll off. The passengers had all acted like they couldn't see me. likely a side effect of his demonic influence. But as it turned away, I saw Craig's ghostly presence standing there, glaring at me. Somehow, I was lucky to survive. I saw him pick up the old phone in his hand, and then slide it under another seat, waiting for another victim to be curious enough to find it.